Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, happy Wednesday. Welcome.
I'm going to move my mic here a little bit because it's like way off on the side. We're going to make a lot of noise.
Let's do that.
Okay. That's noise is done.
Yes, okay.
Good morning.
Hey.
Happy Wednesday. It's White Hat Wednesday.
Where are the tax refunds? Talk to us about tax refunds.
Yeah, we've had a couple people that have been like, hey, what's happening?
People are asking.
And, we see a little bit happening here and there, but, is it over?
Our clients are kind of busy.
Yeah.
I doubt that it's over, but, for recent years, dealers have complained about it being more of a trickle. It used to be fire hose kind of situation February,
Well, some of our clients, it was pretty fire hose there for a few weeks.
It was pretty intense for a short time, but
yeah.
So, let's hear what's going on there.
So say hello. Let us know where you're listening from. And, we're, again, Utah.
Yeah.
We're here now. And, part of our story about being here is part of what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, and I got to throw a quick mention. Anybody tuning in expecting to hear Steve Taylor this morning?
Oh, yeah,
we put a post
yeah.
out there about Steve Taylor with America's Car Mart was going to join us, and that was just a miscommunication. One of those things where text messages
so we're thinking either
and,
Friday or next week.
And he's actually hoping to bring Jeff Williams, the CEO, with him to the conversation. So we'll find a time that'll work. So stay tuned about that. But sorry about the mix-up on that.
Yeah,
you're stuck with Jim and Michelle.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry. And also tomorrow is the last day to get the early bird discount for the event at the end of the month. And so yes, I'm gonna just kind of throw it on up there so that, and it's early bird morning show, and it is for $125 off the $199 ticket price. So that's a pretty substantial.
You don't want to miss this thing.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really great.
More people, it seems like every day.
Yeah. And I think we're like 25 people that will be joining us at some point with their level of expertise to talk about some of the stuff, the things that
you're gonna have to be careful with this table. It's wobbly.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? I know that kind of stuff just drives Jim nuts.
Makes people dizzy.
Well, when you're in a makeshift office, it's a
morning
makeshift.
Cesar.
Yeah, good morning.
Cesar
and George too. Makeshift workspace. So
well, we got a fun topic for this morning. I'm excited, Raleigh, to talk about this because it's really it kind of goes to the heart of some stuff that we talk about from time to time. And we know that business models vary out there in Buy Here Pay Here. That much we can see. We certainly see a lot of different approaches. And I think this conversation, so I threw a poll, for those of you who didn't see it, I threw a poll out there about test drives and applications, like which one happens first. And some months ago, I did a poll that was more, multiple stages of the process. What order do you do things? But this time I just want to say, okay, which one happens first in your typical deal flow, not counting online applications, just with walk-ups? How does it work? Do you do an application first or do you test drive first? So we'll get around to talking about that. I think first we want to have Michelle share a story about something just happened yesterday.
So, y'all know that Utah, we're here. We are, I was looking at rental properties before we got here, just to kind of get an idea of prices and, different where things are and they're available. So since we got here, I have been actively looking for a place to rent. And, it's been a long time since I've had to do something like that, like renting a house. And it's just, it's been like, wow. Processes for a lot of these realtors that handle rental property. They're saying up front, it's like, this is going to be a 45+ day process. And I'm like, holy crap, I don't want to be I love my daughter. I don't want to be in the basement for 45 days. So, I've been out there kind of talking to people. And so I sent in a request to this house that's, it's like an ideal location. It's almost just a little bit too far to walk to my mom's house, but it's, quick drivable, that kind of thing. And it's, it like fit the boxes from the website, because like I've been on Zillow, I've been on Rentler, I've been
All the
on, I mean,
places.
all of the places we've looked at for furnished and unfurnished and all of that. So I sent in this request and I said, hey, in town, been away for a couple of years. We're looking for something for 9 months to a year. We are digital nomads, work for ourselves, coaches and consultants. So we work from home or we're traveling. Okay. That's about it. So I get this message from this gal, who is a real estate agent. And I I was like, wow. Like two pinging back and forth. I was kind of
Oh, your cell signal problem.
I was slightly offended, um, or irritated.
Yeah.
And so the first questions that she asked me is, she's like, she at first she says, how long? That's it. How long are you thinking? And I said, 9 to 12 months. When do you need it by? Said, we're available now, anytime in the next couple of weeks, whatever. And then she proceeds to go directly into, do you have any felonies? Do you have any bankruptcies? Do you have any this? Do you have any that? Knows nothing about me. Nothing at all. Hasn't asked, like, what are you looking for? Just in case this house doesn't, because she's a real estate agent and I know that they've got more than one listing. And, nothing at all to find out about me and what my needs are. It's just transact. And she is disqualifying me from the gate. I don't want to take time with this person. Just disqualify. And I mean, so she's asking me like, the felonies, the bankruptcies, all of that kind of stuff. And I said, can I just look at the house?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to rent it. Because
Yeah.
because pictures can be deceiving. I don't even know if I want to rent it.
Yeah.
And so, and at that point she's like, yes, just shoot me off a picture of your driver's license and I'll send you the code.
And
But
now I would say she was upset. Like
I was like,
really
are
upset
you
yesterday,
serious?
like irritated.
Yeah.
So now it's like, I may not want to rent this property.
just
And
because.
not only that, I may not want to rent any of the properties you represent.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, that's
yeah,
part of what
it's
happened
like,
there.
and she didn't ask anything about how many felonies, Karen.
Yeah. How many fingers?
None.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, that's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not the point. And it's like, and I thought to myself, she knows nothing about me.
Yeah.
She, I haven't done, any application, nothing. She knows zero about me. And she's automatically assuming, or whatever. It's just like shooting me. And I was like, man, I just want to take a look at the property.
Right.
And then I can decide whether or not I want it.
Because
and
the
then
address
I'll ask,
wasn't listed.
Because the address is listed, so we could see outside, but I want to see the inside. I mean, it's an older house, and
right.
I just kind of wanted to take a look at it.
You can see why this relates to what we want to talk about. We put the poll out there about test drives, and then today our topic was on a White Hat Wednesday. We want to talk about qualification, kind of who makes the decision, and at what point in the process is that decision made.
Yes.
Right. And so in this case, I couldn't help but think about how it relates, like purely business. Like the business person to me is thinking, okay, this realtor's out front on this property, and you've got somebody here who's interested in the property, and she has basically just run them off. Like, by the way, we haven't sent in a driver's license to go look at this property yet. So the point is, the realtor stood between the property owner and the would-be renter, and we would be some good renters. We typically leave. I
usually leave the place better than I found it. Yeah.
And so now the point is, they have kind of run us off and irritated us. Is like, was that really necessary?
Well, and it made me think, this isn't like poor credit, like world. This is just like, in the entire ecosystem of rental houses. Because like I said, nothing has happened. It was just like, this is just not very, it did nothing for me to be like, oh, I really want to work with these people.
Right.
Well, I really wanted to,
I think it's relevant because, even though granted, you're right, this is the larger segment. We don't know what the credit profile of people as they're shopping for a rental property, but we do know that people who are, shopping for a car at a buy here, pay here dealership, we know kind of the credit profile of that consumer. So you could kind of take two perspectives on that. You could say, well, don't we kind of already know the credit profile of the person who's shopping? Do we really need to qualify them first?
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about that this morning. It's like, okay, so all of you dealers out there in buy here, pay here land, if someone is willing to land on the property and test drive a car and they like the car, how many of them are leaving without a car?
Right. So so I think this is all part of it's really about, and listen, the poll results actually came back a little different than I expected. I think I told you going in, I said, I bet you're going to find that 70% of the people who respond to the poll will say that they do an application before a test drive. That's kind of what we see quite a bit. We had some people chime in, verbally on and kind of add comments. And I think, it's not so much about that. We know that business models vary, right? We certainly see that across buy here, pay here. And the results, just so you know, the latest, and I'm sure there's still stuff still coming in because I just posted it last evening, but out of the 60 that had responded in both the success group and the boardroom group at last count, 36 out of 60 said they do an application before a test drive. And this is not so much about indicting anybody's business model as much as it's just saying, how would the experience be different if, let's just let you be a customer for a minute. You come to me and I'm the dealer, and now you come to me, or I'm the salesperson.
I want to drive this car.
You came in and you didn't fill out an application online. You're a walk-up. You just showed up on the lot. You walked in, I greeted you, and you came because somebody referred you or whatever. And so now you're here, looking for a certain 4-door car or a minivan, whatever. And so now, if the experience is such that I ask you, so tell me, what would you like to do first? We can get the keys and let you go test drive it first and make sure you like it. And then we can sit down and do the paperwork. Or if you prefer, we can work through the financial qualifications first, so you can make sure that, we can be sure the financial part fits before you drive the car. What would you prefer to do?
Well, exactly. And again, I'll take it back to that real estate agent. If she had asked me at the front, do you want to take a look at the property first, or do you want to take care of the, pre-qualifying for the property? I would have been like, I want to take a look at the property first, or at least I was given a choice. So,
and by the way, this is no real time of the realtor in this particular case. She said, send in a photo and I'll get you a code and you go look at it. Like,
she's not
that takes almost
show up. There's
no time on her part.
There's no test drive with the realtor.
And in the end, we can send a photo and go look at it today. Even if we got 17 felonies, we can still go look at it. Like, in the end, she didn't disqualify us from going to look at the property. You follow?
No, she didn't.
She asked questions, which were insulting.
But were insulting. I mean, but okay. So I get that when you are offering a car or a piece of property, you want to make sure that there are certain boxes that are checked. I totally get that. I completely get that. I get as well that, if she gets a driver's license, then it's like they have some level of security. So like, if you're going to have someone test drive a car, of course, you're not going to let them test drive a car unless they have a driver's license. And that's kind of like sorry, can't help you with. And then the other thing that we typically talk about, if you're not going to do the application first, it's like, okay, so the down payment is suggested at this. Is this something that's going to be an issue? Yes or no, and they can still test drive the car, but you're kind of getting an idea about that piece.
And listen, we can analyze and reanalyze sales processes, and we know they vary. I would just tell you that with our clients, we typically recommend, and even when we're working with people that are new and we describe the process that we recommend, virtually all of them affirm that that's what they'd like to do. And really the idea is really just to avoid having salespeople broom customers on the front end of the sales process. So first and foremost, I'm just trying to finance more customers, approve more deals, create more business. I don't want, so if I'm the dealer decision maker, I want more of those decisions to come to me or my chief underwriter or whoever is the person who's going to say yes or no. I want the people on the front end of the sales process to be inclusive and helpful and bring more customers to me to say yes or no. It's that simple. It's like it's an inclusive process. It's meant to bring more customers into we can call it a funnel. It's a process that we bring customers in. We bring customers in. They advance based on certain set of circumstances. And it gives me as the chief underwriter, maybe I'm the dealer decision maker, it gives me the ability to make that decision and not have other people making a judgment on the front end or irritating people on the front end, having them leave or disqualify themselves because of something. So I would really just ask some questions. What percentage, if you do an application first, what percentage of the customers that you do that application on qualify and move forward with a test drive? I think we should know that number.
And that's actually something that we've asked many of our dealers, and it's like, I couldn't tell you.
And then the other question is, and we probably won't know the answer to this one, it's like, okay, so what percentage of the customers who visit the lot meet your qualifications? Whatever that looks like, down payment, job time, whatever the qualifications look like for you. What percentage of the customers meet the qualification? Then the next question is, of those customers who didn't meet the qualification, didn't have enough income, what percentage of those would have, if they had driven the car and liked it, would have gone and brought back a qualified co-buyer and maybe some more down payment or whatever else might have looked like? So look, I was in new cars for a time. Before I was in new cars, I was in retail and sporting goods business. And so my question really is, if you, because in the new car sales, we were taught to have the customer help create value, build value in whatever the customer's buying. If they're buying a new Ford pickup truck, help them understand all the benefit and all the value of Ford. But why? Because they'll probably pay more if they see the value of what they're buying.
Yeah.
So this comes back to test drive. Like in your case, had you gone and seen that piece of property and you just fell in love with it, you probably would have gone to greater lengths.
Yeah.
You probably would have gone to greater lengths to whatever down payment, because those are ways to overcome any kind of qualification questions, typically a car dealership included. You can overcome some risk by some more down payment. Would I agree to put more down payment on a car I haven't even driven yet?
Probably not.
Not as likely, So I think it's really just this question. And I think and again, for me, it's really I'm just trying to help. If I'm a dealer, I'm just trying to see more applications. I'm trying to see more deals on customers who are committed to a car and ready to buy.
Yeah. Well, and there's like a whole nother, a different perspective to this too, is that in our industry, and this is where like the white hat way really ties into what it is that we're talking about. In our industry, we're about relationship building.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this, the difference between a transaction and a relationship. Are you relationship building? Because it's easier if you're not a buy here, pay here, and you're just a regular independent dealer. You don't have to worry about relationship if you don't want to, because it's like, buy the car, see you later. Maybe you'll come back. Well, in buy here, pay here, when we sign the papers, we now are in a contractual. It's like you're in a relationship now.
Yeah.
So
we might call it online dating. We were
laughing about online dating this morning. It's like, when they're coming to the lot, you're dating. It's like, oh, so I mean, how many? Because that's how we met. I don't know if any of you guys knew that we met.
Thank you, Bumble.
Thank you, Bumble. It was, we're a success story.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, when you're kind of looking for the thing or whatever, is the minute they sit down and say, so what's your credit score?
Yeah.
Can you pay for dinner?
Yeah.
Do you have the ability to be able to buy or, to pay? Do you have a felony? Right. I mean, on the first date, you just.
What if you wasn't before the first date? You didn't even get to a coffee. You just. You want to know before I meet you for coffee.
Yeah. So, because you usually communicate
before I invest my time to drive over and meet you for coffee, which you're going to pay for.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do a background check so I could see?
Yeah.
Michelle and I would have never met. I would have never gone to meet her
if she.
she's
Never
cute.
mind.
She's cute. But if she'd asked me for all that, I would have said,
there's
"Yeah,
a
you
really
know
funny
what?
story attached to that. We'll talk about it
Another
maybe or
time."
maybe not.
Yeah.
But so we're relationship. This is, transactional relationship. And I mean, let's say a what if. What if the moment someone stepped on the lot that your team and you all had we're approaching this person as this person qualifies, and we want to make sure that they get the right vehicle to fit their needs, and that their needs are being met, and that we are like, hey, this is knowing that this is like we're going to be dating long term.
Yeah.
And that this is where I'm kind of stepping in because I'm like looking for the one. And so you're going to be dating long term. And so, let's say that they get on the lot and you're like, how'd you hear about us? What can we do to help you? Are you looking, they say, hey, I want to take a look at that minivan. Do you need a minivan? Do you guys have kids? I mean,
Right.
and so, asking not brooming questions, but asking questions about how can I help you?
Right.
So let's say you go through that and it's like, yeah, this is really awesome. And of course, you might hear a story here. A lot of times what we've seen is that like, I don't have it down, or I've got a da 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 da, and they know immediately because they've been through the ringer with other people. But so you're just like, hey, we're here to help. What can we do? Let's say that half the people that come on your lot won't qualify for whatever reason, but you've treated them like that. You've treated them like you're going to qualify. And when it gets down to, application time, it's like, oh, this isn't going to work. Can you bring someone in? But it doesn't work. And it's just like, oh my gosh, we really wish that we could help you. Here are the kind of some of the things that we're going to need in order for this to work. And, let us know if your situation changes, or whatever it is that's like, this is your no go line. When that person leaves the lot and they have been treated like a human the whole time they were there, and that sales team was like really genuinely interested in how can we help you, what can we do to help you, that what do you think the chances are that when they have a friend that needs a vehicle, that they're going to say, hey, go talk to them. Right. They're really great. That's not a referral from a buyer. That's a referral from someone who was on the lot because they had a great experience on the lot. And so, I totally, we're in the high risk business. And so, yeah, they're going to have to do an application. Yeah. They're going to have to be able to meet certain requirements. Is it really, some people will say it's a time thing. Really?
Well, and so not all time is spent. Some of it is invested. So I think when we hear about the time element, because I know that's a thing. Like
well, during tax season, I can kind of get that a little bit more.
It does take a little more time, but so we're not suggesting you won't at least have some. I typically would ask just short list, like a little survey or questionnaire that we would do right before test drive. So bottom line is the approach that we recommend is the customer doesn't have to qualify for a test drive. I mean, in fact, with most of our clients, the GPS is already installed on the car. Like, and so it's a little like, I couldn't help but think about the example. Imagine if you walked into a chocolate shop where they often offer you samples. Imagine if the people behind the counter said, I can give you a sample, but I'm gonna need to hold your driver's license and debit card.
Can you put cash on the table? Because we know we know you're going to buy.
Yeah. It's like, it's exaggerated, but it's like, it's
true,
like why,
though.
But the customer is there to finance a car that they're going to own for 3 years. And so I think I would just like to we would recommend that to our clients, certainly, that they create an experience for the customer that they can have the choice. What would you prefer to do, Mr. or Mrs. Customer? We're, and like, they don't have to qualify for a test drive. It's going to take a few more minutes of my time. Yes. It's my expectation that when I invest that time, show them a little respect. When they return, they're going to like the car because I hope my cars are in good condition. They drive well. And so they smell good. The air conditioner works. And so now when the customer returns, the customer is going to be more agreeable when it's time to sit down and negotiate down payment and the terms. They're probably going to be more apt to step up a little bit in those areas if they've driven the car and like it. So it's just a simple thing for me. It's like, I think we're clearly on the side of recommending. I just give the customer a choice. And by the way, so a lot of these customers will say, I think I'd prefer to know that I qualify. I don't need to bother to drive it, until I know for sure that I qualify. But even if a customer doesn't qualify, I can usually, I'm pretty creative. Like I can usually, if I'm working with a customer today who doesn't qualify, I can probably find a way. If they like the car and they like me and they feel comfortable doing business, I probably can help them understand the benefit of finding a co-buyer or getting some additional down payment or getting that trade they didn't want to trade. I mean, I'm just saying, if they like me and they like the car, I'm probably going to have a better chance to bring a deal together.
Exactly. Exactly. And people are willing to, when you as a consumer feel like the person that's guiding you through this purchase is sitting on the same side of the table as you. And so it's like, okay, well, let's look. What do we have? What are your needs? That you really are. You really, really are. And, one of the things too, we talk about long-term dating. If we can, as providers in this space, look at every interaction of someone that lands, and I would take it even further back, but I'm just talking about lands on your lot, that this is someone that you potentially could have a relationship with for the next 10 years. Because if you foster a good relationship with someone, then there's a good chance that they're going to buy again, or they're going to be bringing people into you as a referral. So
I would just think about that time that we're talking about. I would think of that as an investment. It's just an investment. And I think of this, by the way, this comes up on the collection side too. We hear a lot of, people talk about, well, collectors can't be on the phone that long. They can't talk to people about their softball games or their medical condition. We got to collect car payments. I'm like, I'm not sure that you can't justify investing that time.
Maggie would completely disagree with you on that because Maggie from C&M Coaching, we've had the conversation and I've listened the whole beginning of a collection call where you're verifying information. It takes less than 45 seconds. It's like done there. And then it's like, if they're looking at the notes and say, let's get this, stuff done. And they're working on getting the payment process. Hey, I'm looking at the notes and it looks like your mom was in the hospital. Is everything going okay with that?
Right.
And taking that moment, because while you're doing the thing, you can be having a little conversation. And so you really can, do a collection call under 2 minutes.
Yeah. So, but going back to the whole application test drive thing, it's like, the question becomes, what does it really cost us? Like if we did invest that time, what are we risking? And so just ask yourself that. Like we can't answer that for you, but you just have to ask yourself, have I got GPS on the car? What's the worst that's going to happen? I should tell quickly the story about it. I remember when I was working with a dealership in Tennessee, we had a customer go on a test drive and we were very clear. The little test drive form, it's supposed to be back in 15 minutes, like we were crystal clear. But the customer, they're still not back. 2 hours, now we're checking GPS.
What the heck?
GPS, they're in Kentucky. They're like an hour and a half away. Well, about 4 hours later, because we're tracking with GPS, we're talking to Kentucky law enforcement, they pull the car over. Not only is the person arrested, they had gone to pick up their boyfriend who had warrant. So now the person's getting charged with,
you got your car back.
You got the warrant. The person who's out on a warrant is now under arrest, and we got our car back. It's like, so even
it's
in the most
win-win-win.
we did law enforcement some good.
You're welcome.
But it's like, it's like, what did we really risk?
And that doesn't happen very often.
And, so it is one thing to ask yourself, is among the risk, what's your insurance look like? If the customer goes out and test drive and has an accident, what's that look like? Ask yourself. But I'm just saying, really at the end, I'm just trying to find out, how can we bring more customers deeper into the process so that we can let our creative decision makers make the call on whether there's a deal there? And let's not insult customers on the front end, so that we can at least start the relationship from a place of respect and, have some level of communication that helps the customer have a good experience and do business with us for 10 years, as you said, and maybe longer. So, we got dealers out there who have generations of customers. And so it's like, I'm not sure, but that extra few minutes of time invested in, right now we're talking about a test drive. It could be other parts of the process. It's like, we really just want to bring the customer along and show that we're willing to help them solve whatever the problem of the day is. And that just goes a long way toward keeping the customer with us and showing a much different experience than what they're often going to see elsewhere. So this is why we recommend that approach. It's about in the end of the day, it's about creating more sales and more long-term customers.
And it's another, not a squirrel.
Oh yeah.
Not a squirrel,
It's a
but
possum?
it's kind of a possum because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
related.
That's
Another
our
thing
little
you're gonna learn
inside
about
joke, yeah.
is that if salespeople are grooming and that they're
Mhm.
brooming whatever
Mhm.
people because it's about their commission,
Yeah, we've seen that.
then it's a really great opportunity for you to look again at the commission structure and how can you reward
Mhm.
um relationship building.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
challenging. Listen, in our
yeah, it is
business, it's tough.
challenging.
I mean, most of the dealerships as they grow, it's a natural part of growth that you kind of
Mhm.
separate your sales and your collection departments and
Mhm.
underwriting, and it's just
Yeah.
natural how you grow.
Yeah.
But we certainly recommend
Yeah.
doing everything you
We
can
have,
to
we have
try
a
to.
couple of ideas on that if
Yeah.
you want,
Yeah, for sure.
how to do that part.
Yeah.
But so moral of the story is
Maybe just don't irritate your customers on the front end.
yeah, the housing market in Utah
Yeah.
is a little frustrating, but
Well, and they shouldn't be so hard on applicants because there's a whole lot of property available.
there are, and
Yeah.
it's and so it's if me,
Mhm.
average consumer,
Mhm.
is feeling frustrated with being a transaction,
Mhm.
imagine how our customers are feeling because almost every transaction is transactional.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's like it gets to the point where it's just like we're just meat. It's no
Yeah.
wonder, it's we're just a dollar bill to this person. That's
Yeah.
it. We're not a person. And they, that they start to approach it. It's like, you don't care about me, so I don't care about you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
can be
So
attached
Shelley's
to that.
asking, are we going to see the property? Shelley, I think there's way too much bad mojo. I don't think I want to live there with Michelle now. She's got all this negative energy around this thing. So no, I'm kidding. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just might be a conversation had at some point, but
yeah.
I think it's
I got a couple other things to go look at today and places to go. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I know that we'll find the perfect thing, but I just as a consumer, I like I like to feel like I matter.
Yeah.
I matter.
Yeah. And
So,
listen,
in the
we can
process.
wrap up by saying we're not out there to try to change anybody's business models. We are out there trying to help dealers create more sales and create more long-term relationships. So
and
anything
to
we can do.
improve the experience of the consumer.
Yeah. So by all means, those of you who chimed in, let us know your thoughts on this. And maybe we're just wrong. Maybe we're wrong, Michelle.
You can never go wrong with good humaning.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to say, after all these years and miles, I trust my experience on these things, and especially on the customer side. It's just, you trust your experience.
Yep.
So,
all right. So, hey guys, enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back on Friday. We may or may not have,
more likely the next week. We'll keep you posted about, stay tuned for the announcement.
And don't forget, tomorrow is the last day for the early bird morning show. Go to BHPHNationTV.com to get registered.
Coupon to show on the screen there?
No, because we're
Early
done.
Bird Morning Show.
Early Bird Morning Show. We'll talk to you all later. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks.